Hello and welcome. My name is Corey Center, and I help experts clarify their message so they can transform their life's work into their legacy to inspire future generations. I am here with one of my favorite leadership experts, Terry Ann Richards, and we are going to be talking about the truth about leadership and how to not become that leader. Today, we're actually going to be diving in, discussing how to jump off the hamster wheel of life and reclaim your time so you can actually focus on what really matters to you and have the energy to go forth and do it. Thank you so much for being here with me today, Terry Ann. Before we dive into today's interview, I would love to hear more about why time is an area you love focusing on with leaders.
Mm, that's a really good question. I've been in business for myself for about 16 years. And I would say about 10 years ago, I fell into that lovely hamster wheel. And I was working about 80, 90 hours a week.
Mhm.
My children saw the back of my head way more than they saw the front of my face. And over the course of a 5 year span, I lost my company, I burnt out, and I lost my marriage. And I know that there are a ton of entrepreneurs and leaders out there that are living a similar life. And for me, time is where it all begins. It's having that foundation of what you're supposed to prioritize and what you're not. And about 5 years ago, I decided to get into leadership development coaching with leaders and entrepreneurs. And yeah, time is definitely where I like to focus.
Makes sense. And like when you say burnout, I remember watching my wife burn out from exhaustion, and she literally just passed out in a restaurant where we were. I'm curious if you had a similar experience where you actually lost more time with that burnout. Like, were you hospitalized? Were you in bed? Like, what happened there?
I had my sign company back then, and it was a few weeks before Christmas, the hustle and bustle of Christmas. My company was exploding at the seams. I had just had a Christmas party with all of my friends, woke up the next morning, and I couldn't stand up. And I'm not talking about I couldn't stand up because of the drinks the night before. I couldn't stand up because my body had been giving me signals, yellow flags, orange flags, and red flags all that year of slow down.
Mhm.
I didn't listen. And I lasted about 2 days at home, couldn't get up and walk from point A to point B without falling over. I ended up having a
Whoa.
severe case of vertigo. Lost a ton of weight within a 3 week period, and I was hospitalized. That took me about 3 to 6 months to recover. I couldn't drive for 3 months. It
Wow.
was it was like everything came crashing down very, very rapidly because I did not listen to the signs.
Got it. Yeah. So just trying to be in that hustle actually made you lose way more time than you would have had you listened to the signs ahead of
100%.
time.
Yeah.
So, so then why is it that people like the leaders that you've worked with, why do they have such a struggle with managing their time?
You know what? I think first and foremost, I think it has to do with as a leader, we believe we're the end all be all. And I don't mean that in a
Mhm.
mean way or an egotistical way, but it's when you get into a role, you've gotten into it because you've worked really hard your entire life to earn that title, right?
Mhm.
And so we
Totally.
believe somewhere along the lines that we're supposed to know it all, which means then we're supposed to do it all. So I think first we struggle with delegation, right?
Mhm.
And I think second, we struggle with focus. There's so many things in front of us, right? That's the hamster wheel, right? There's so many things
Right.
in front of us that over time we struggle with focusing on that one thing, following one course until successful, focusing on one thing that is important to get us to the next goal. And instead we focus on multiple things. And it's sort of
Mhm.
like, what is that saying? The jack of all trades, the master of none. Like you can't
Right.
be really great at any one thing if you're trying to be good at all of it, right? You have to
Right.
master something and do it and be successful at it. And in leadership, I find, when I think of myself and I think of the clients that I work with, a lot of the times the struggle really is just finding that thing that they're good at, that they're
Mhm.
supposed to focus on to get them to the next big thing and delegate the rest.
That makes sense. That's why we have teams, right? Now, I know you go into this more in the Awaken a Leader program, where you're really training leaders like, let's get that 7 to 10 hours back a
Yes.
week so you can actually do the thing you're meant to do.
Yep.
Before, obviously, we don't have the time to go into that fully right now, but I'm curious if our audience was to do one thing,
Mm.
just one thing where they could reclaim an hour of their time a week, what is that one thing that they could do right now to start making that gain in their time?
Absolutely. So you have 168 hours every single week. And let's
Hmm.
make an assumption. I'm just going to round out this number. Like 110 of those hours are used with, what you need to do for workouts and working and travel and eating and showering and sleeping. So you got about 50 hours left a week. And I know for most of you, that's blowing your mind. You're like, I don't have 50 hours left a week, but you do, right? And the reality is the reason why you're struggling with going in 10 different directions is because you haven't decided, you haven't made a decision on what your focus is. And so the
Hmm.
one way that you can get back your time, because I already know you have the time, is by deciding what is the most important thing that you need to be working on a weekly basis that's going to get you to the end goal, whatever that goal is for you, your organization, the business, your family life for the end of 2021, because we're basically at the end of 2020. Whatever that
Indeed we
decision
are.
is, you need to decide what is important, right? You need to decide
Hmm.
what is important, and then you need to put that with pen on your calendar first before anything else, because those extra hours can be focused on that versus anything
Hmm.
else like Netflix and chilling.
Got it. That makes sense. So it seems like the real art, the secret of mastering your time, is to really decide what really matters to you and then prioritize what's important. But most importantly, take action on the priorities first. Don't put those till the end because they'll never get done. Is that right?
That's 100% it. You need to decide and then you need to do something about it.
Right. And so I love the way you talk about this. Can you tell our audience exactly how to do that one more time?
Absolutely. So you need to make a decision of what is the most important thing for you in your life and in your business to get you closer to whatever that goal is for the end of next year. So once you decide, that with a pen and paper or on your little calendar needs to be put in your calendar first before anything else. The book is Eat the Frog or something.
Eat the
You
frog.
eat the frog. You need to decide what is the most important thing first. Do that first before you do anything else. Find your focus through that, and that's how you get back your time.
Yep. And then you follow that focus, something I love that you teach. And you follow one course until successful. So prioritize what that is, then focus on it until you
Exactly.
get to where you want to be. And make sure
Exactly.
you enroll your team along the way. You don't need to be an island, right? That's why we have each other. That's why you have a team in the first place.
That's right.
So thank you so much, Terry Ann, for being here with me today. I always appreciate our time together. Everybody else, make sure you jump in and join me tomorrow because I'm going to be interviewing the mind behind the Awaken Leader program, which is Linda Patton. We're going to be exploring how to make your money work for you. So I'm really excited about that. Looking forward to seeing you there. I'll see you all next time.